Grant Williams named to the VP of the Players Union, which is a pretty good stroke, man. That's a sign that you're a leader. That's a sign that people want to rally behind you. So good for him, the former Vol with the Boston Celtics. And I'm still shocked how good he is for the Celtics. And I'm a Celtics fan, so try to make plans to go see them at in Philadelphia this weekend because I'll be up north. But unfortunately, that didn't work out because tickets are expensive, and I don't realize how far these cities are from each other. Caleb knows because he lives up there. I thought that Hartford might be kind of close to Philadelphia. It's like a 5-hour drive, so I'm not doing that.
Also, $200 worth of tolls because you don't have tolls in the South. You got them all in the Northeast.
John says, as far as Barnes, I'd rather be teased than throw my arms up every year in futility. And Travis already has Grant Williams at number 4. So I ask you this, Grant Williams, where does he rank among the all-time Tennessee Vols? And it's brought to you by Zul Beer Company, xulbeer.com. Zul Beer, worldwide award-winning craft beer, parking downtown. You're going to love it. Great place to hang out, a panoramic view of downtown. So where does Grant Williams rank? And let me begin with you because I know you're pretty high on him and his impact and his standing in the program. So lay it on me.
Ranking him 4th, I might put him 3rd. I might put him, this is just production in college, I might put him ahead of Allen Houston. I mean, I'm going to say it. I could even put him 2nd behind Bernard King. Yeah, I'm going to go 2nd.
Okay, wait a second. Now, are we talking production? Because then, I mean, we do have a more offensive game and have had a more offensive game in the past 20 years. So let's take that into account. Not that he's just a great offensive player, but his numbers.
It's not just the stats. He's a 2-time All-American and a 2-time SEC Player of the Year. Outside of Bernard King, I think he's the only other player, right, from Tennessee to be a 2-time SEC Player of the Year.
Okay, can I change it, though, a little bit? Okay, you're building a team. Is he in the top 5 picks on your team?
Is he in my starting 5 for Tennessee basketball?
All time.
So starting point guard is obviously Ernie Grunfeld. We agree with that, right? If you're building a team, Ernie Grunfeld plays point guard, right?
Yes, but Tony White's an emotional second stringer.
Right, exactly. So Tony White backup, Ernie Grunfeld the starter. Chris Lofton is your starting shooting guard. Am I right?
Yes.
All right. Dale Ellis has got to be your starting small forward. Am I right?
Yes.
Okay.
Especially the way he played in the NBA. He was more of a post player in college, but in the NBA, he was a shooter. So no doubt.
Okay. So this is where you have to leave Grant Williams out. And this is so unfair to him because I might have him 2nd all time, but the power forward position is then reserved for one Bernard King, and you can't have him ahead of Bernard King. And neither one of them can play center. Reggie Johnson, I think, would be center on the all-time Tennessee basketball team. And so I'd go Reggie Johnson, Bernard King, Dale Ellis, Chris Lofton, and Ernie Grunfeld. So I would not start Grant Williams. He'd be my 2nd string power forward, but he is the 2nd best player of all time in Tennessee history. He is tied in, locked into that power forward spot because King nor Grant Williams is big enough to play center. So you have to have a center in there.
Well, and you also would lose some, you would think you would lose some of King's shooting ability if, he had to play center on the offensive end. I think you'd want him to be a stretch 4. And that opens it up to what kind of center do you even want? I mean, do you want a defensive center, a Stevie Hamer, a Doug Roth? Do you want those type of guys? Kevin Nash at center. But I mean, in all seriousness, though, if you have that type of team that can shoot from the perimeter, do you want that guy? Kind of like a Draymond Green. I know Draymond has some offensive skills, but a Draymond Green, a Bill Laimbeer. I'm just throwing guys out there that were defensive presence.
You need somebody that can clean up the boards down low, I think, at that point. And that's where Reggie Johnson would come in. I think Reggie Johnson is probably the best center in Tennessee basketball history. So the best true center. So I would go with him.
Well, now John says Tony White and Ron Slay are my emotional lift from the bench. Yes. So I would totally second unit this. You remember when UNLV did that that one year they just subbed in like a whole five new dudes would come in. So I don't know that I do 5, but my 3 would be Tony White, Ron Slay, Grant Williams. That's the mass sub that comes in at the second TV timeout, and then I'm gold. I'm in good shape there.
I got 4 because we have to throw Allen Houston in there too. And so,
I got Allen. Do we not have Allen Houston as a starter?
Are you starting him over Chris Lofton or Dale Ellis?
I've got to start Allen Houston over. I'm confused. Okay, wait. Okay, Ernie. Here's my 5. Let me be real clear.
Okay,
Ernie. The 2 Lofton. The 3 Allen Houston, because I'm shooting a lot of threes. I do this in NBA Live with my son, by the way, all the time. I go small ball all the time. Okay. And then Bernard King at the 4, which for my taste is a little bit big for a 4, but he can shoot. And then the 5, I'm wide open. I don't think it really matters.
Well, go with me.
Or maybe I go Bernard King at center, and then I get another shooter in there.
I mean, then you
know who we haven't discussed that, as far as pure physical ability, can get you a 2 when it's got to happen. Was not great at defense, but was great at playing passing lanes. Vincent Yarbrough.
Oh, Vincent Yarbrough, in terms of raw talent, I agree. That's raw talent though, and I'm going this based on production. If you move King at center, you have to put Grant Williams at power forward. You absolutely have to. His production was incredible. Again, 2-time SEC Player of the Year, 2-time All-American, SEC regular season champion. Led Tennessee to a number 1 ranking with 30 wins. How do you you got to put Grant Williams in there. I mean, he's the most productive player in Tennessee history since Bernard King.
Okay, now let me make it tougher on you because I'm enjoying this. This is fun stuff. All right, you got to do this without Bernard King and Ernie Grunfeld and Dale Ellis. You've got to do this since 1990 on.
You actually made it a heck of a lot easier for me.
Really?
Yeah, because I can start Tony White at point guard. Easy.
Well, he's mid-80s, but I'll give you that.
Oh, you're right. No. I'm gonna go.
I'll give you the Whizzer because that was that and Johnny Jones. Those were my first 2 favorite Tennessee players. So you're getting the Dave. No,
I'm sticking with your rule. Okay. And I'm starting C.J. Watson at point guard at that point.
Ooh.
C.J. Watson labored for 3 years under the worst coaching in the history of basketball with Buzz Peterson. Horrible coach. And then he spends 1 year under Bruce Pearl and he thrives. He ends up getting like a 6-7 year NBA career out of that. I will never forget, I was at a Grizzly game. It must have been about 10-15 years ago. And CJ was playing for Golden State. I go and I meet CJ Watson's uncle, who was like sitting in the stands and was like, yeah, Buzz was a bad dude. But just they had nothing nice to say about Buzz. And Watson apparently from Vegas, but went to Tennessee because his family's from Nashville. And they just loved Pearl. So I got TJ Watson as my starting point guard.
Okay, I'll have CJ Watson as my starting point. Now we're saying since 90 on. And this is all because Grant Williams, if you're just tuning in, please hit the like button. Grant Williams was named VP of the Players Union. So it'd be great to have him from a leadership perspective. But if we're talking pure talent, I'd go CJ since 1990. I'd go CJ 1. I would go.
The 2 and 3 are easy.
Lofton is your 2. Vincent's your 3.
No, Allen Houston.
Oh, man, where am I putting? I want to get Vincent in there. Okay, so Allen's your 3. You're right. And then at the 4, who you got at the 4 and the 5?
I mean, 4 is easy at this point. It's Grant Williams because it's Grant Williams. And at this point, here's the
5 Stevie Hamer.
What? No, here's one. The winningest player in Tennessee basketball history, Wayne Chisholm.
No.
Wayne Chisholm, man.
No.
Come on. What? Okay. Wayne Chisholm, Isaiah Victor, CJ Black, Brandon Crump. Brandon Crump never went anywhere, though. So I'm just naming some true centers. Tennessee wasn't that deep at center. If you want to go wide and not like linked, Jarnell Stokes. A couple years under Quanzo Martin.
Okay. All right. I'm not.
There's not a lot of height that you can. There's not a lot of productive centers from this time that you can really go with.
We got to get Slay Dog in there somehow. He joins us each and every
Slay,
Wednesday.
Slay has some length. He could probably play the 5. And he was SEC Player of the Year.
I'll text him and see if he can play the 5. I don't remember him playing the 5 with that group, but he probably had to because that was in Hathaway had the blood clot issue.
Well, Isaiah Victor was still on the team, though. And then after Isaiah Victor, Brandon Crump came in, and Marcus Hazlett was – oh, what about Hazlett at center?
Incredible physical talent. I didn't think was ever – I could go Hazlett at center. You just don't – you don't have to worry about him scoring, which in this team you wouldn't have to.
Dwight Howard before Dwight Howard.
Yeah. Wow, great comparison. Portions of the program brought to you by Craft Treats. Craft Treats, man. crafttreats.com. Use the promo code Off the Hook. That's the promo code Off the Hook and get 20% off. I highly recommend their chill pills that helps with your pet's anxiety. Also will help with your pet's arthritis and digestive issues, but they've got non-CBD treats as well. That's crafttreats.com. crafttreats.com. Use the promo code Off the Hook. The promo code Off the Hook. Somebody said Fulkerson. You know, with this group we've got, though, no, that's not terrible. A defensive presence.
Rick Barnes had to move him to the. Fulkerson had one. I'm going to say this about Fulkerson because I think we all love him because of how committed he was to Tennessee. Fulkerson had 1 2-month run before the pandemic hit in 2020, where nobody really thought anything of him, and he was inserted into the lineup, and he caught everybody off guard. Teams figured out how to play him after that, and he was never the same, which is why Barnes had to move him back to the bench last year. So
I thought you were going to say that everybody thought he had COVID.
No.
So they stayed away from him. It's like, don't get close to that guy.
I heard rumors that's why Magic Johnson was kind of effective on the Dream Team, by the way.
Oh, my gosh. It may have been.
Clyde Drexler said that, not me.
Yeah. And Karl Malone had some choice words about that. By the way, Karl Malone, wasn't he on the slam dunk committee thing? Have we forgotten?
How was he allowed at the NBA?
I don't know. Have we forgotten about him dating like a 15-year-old?
Oh, it was 12. It was 12. She was
12?
And he was 20.
Oh, that's even grosser. All right.
Had a baby by her and then refused to take care of they decided not to press charges because they saw his NBA career and they're like, we need money to take care of the baby. And then he fought having to take care of that baby his entire NBA career.
That happened a lot. That happened to Larry Bird.
Yeah, but Larry Bird, it wasn't an underage. It wasn't a 12-year-old.
No, it wasn't. And she looks just like him, the poor lady. So, I mean, it's like if you bumped into her randomly in Phoenix, you'd say, oh, you're Larry Bird's daughter. And so, and Michael Jordan has a daughter in Knoxville, but he did take care of her financially. Anybody know that?
And he's also Buzz Peterson's best friend. Sorry.
Never hung out with him. But yeah, I was wondering if anybody else knew that. But
Michael Jordan or Buzz Peterson out here, the ultimate clout chaser.
Yes. Okay, so we got a Skylar McBee could be your shooting 4. Not
over Chris. Oh, at the 4.
Yeah, so we're going super small. That's what we're going to do. And John said, "Love Tony when I was a kid." Me too. I mean, my 2 first favorite players were Tony White in basketball and Johnny Jones in football, running back. And that was the mid '80s. So I'm like 10 years old, and I'm starting to gravitate towards athletics.